Okay, so I'll ask you a question. We're just going straight down the line here. Describe a time. Oh wait, this is kind of like the same question I answered. Okay, so this is a great one. What would you tell people who have an adverse reaction when they tell you that you want to become a dentist? So people who are like, teeth.
Yeah. I haven't really had that experience, but I feel like I would try to tell them that dentistry is more than just teeth, you know? It's like the entire head, you know? Like there's so much going on, and I feel like a lot of people who respond like that is just because they're not aware of like all the different things that dentists do, or it could also be because they had a really bad experience with a dentist. And so in a way, it's just kind of like those opportunities are opportunities where you can help them understand and learn about what dentistry is about. And well, especially because like we're in dental school.
Right.
Actually, if they asked me before I got into dental school, I don't know what I would say.
You know, I've never gotten that question either,
Yeah.
so I can see why this is in the most difficult question section.
Yeah.
But I would just try to level with them and just understand why they feel that way. Just like Tristan said, maybe they had an adverse, you know, they had a bad experience with the dentist in the past, and that's why they're feeling that way. You would just first try to understand where they're coming from and not really get defensive about things.
Yeah.
The moment they see that you're getting defensive about, you know, even dentistry, it kind of shows them that this person doesn't know how to act professionally. So again, that professional thing. Yeah.
But also it's like all these so like there's a lot of information about like what dentists do that isn't really out there and people don't know about it. And so when you get opportunities like this, you want to make sure that, you know, like you take this as an opportunity for not just this person to learn what dentists do as a profession, but also it's an opportunity for you to learn that like, hey, this is actually a concern that people are actually thinking about in the world, you know, and how are you going to address that? How can you help educate these people, you know? And by being defensive, it doesn't help them, because then the opportunity or that window for them to learn kind of just closes. So you just want to make sure, you know, like Michael said, you don't want to close the opportunity by being defensive. Just be open and understanding about it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna skip some of these questions. One asks about finding the density of a ballpoint pen, and like another one says, I didn't get asked anything too bad, but
density of a ballpoint
pen. Right after it says, it seemed they asked that only to catch a candidate off guard. There's only, so if they ask you a question like this that's just totally just out of the park, and it requires that you know a little bit of math and a little bit of other right. So I think they either want to see that if you're prepared and if you prepared for the interview, or if you come up with some like extraordinary way. What I would say was like I would take the ballpoint pen, put it in a glass jar, measure it, and then take the ball. You understand what I mean. So they just want to see how you're thinking, and it's also important to think out loud how you would attack a problem. So they also do definitely want to assess how you tackle hard questions like this, or hard
thought
problems.
process.
Right, definitely.
All right, so ready for your question?
Yes.
All right. So if you could be any tooth, what would you be and why?
I remember preparing for this question. I said canine again.
You did?
I'm a big
Wait, maxillary, mandibular?
Maxillary.
Okay.
Maxillary. I really didn't get that like specific, but I just said canine because I love dogs, and I thought that would be a good pun to make. But I didn't get asked this question.
I see that.
Yeah. What would you be?
Well, I didn't decide until after we went through like teeth anatomy and ECD. But basically I said I would aspire to be the mandibular canine because it's so perfect. It's the straightest, it's the longest, it's like perfectly contoured. Like we learned all of this. I was like, I aspire to be perfect, but I'll never be mandibular canine.
Oh no. Did you actually tell somebody that?
I did. I told my group, and then I told my mom, and she was like, you're weird.
Yeah. once you kind of get deep into dental school, you start talking about like these different terms, and you definitely are in a different world.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think this is more of like a kind of a lighter question, just to like make things a little bit less stressful for you if you were in an interview. So
Kind of like asking you what your spirit animal would be or something like that. I think there was definitely a question I got in one of my other interviews that was like, what kind of spirit animal are you?
Oh, that's
I don't know what I
there's so many animals.
I think I said polar bear because I'm from Alaska.
Polar bear.
Polar bear.
Yeah.
There aren't any polar bears in Alaska, but you know, people associate polar bears with the cold. But yeah. Anyways, moving on. That's describe a time when you were in a team and you had a vision where things were different. This is like kind of the same question as earlier. If one dentist,
I'm hungry and I want a banana because Michael's wearing a banana shirt.
Okay, I lost the questions, but we should go over some of the questions that, you know, like there was
Inside the actual interview?
Yeah, there was one that you came up with.
Yeah.
That you remembered. Yeah.
So I actually had an ethics question and I was very scared because I didn't know if I answered correctly or not, because I did not review ethics questions. I didn't even think that they would ask ethics questions. But you should definitely be prepared for that. So my question, thank you Dr. Hamilton, because I know now, but my question was, so you have a patient that comes into your practice and they are a firm believer of a guru, and that guru told them one of their very healthy canines is giving off negative energy. So this patient comes into your practice and would like you to extract this very healthy, perfectly normal canine. What would you do as a doctor? And I did pause and I had to think about it, but I came to the conclusion that if I was that doctor and that patient came to me, I would try and educate the patient on why that tooth is important, why it's necessary, its function, and if the patient is still desiring to extract that tooth even after I've tried educating that patient, I would just refer the patient to someone else, because I still want to be able to help them, but I won't compromise what I think is right. Plus, I also was told that that's not legal to, like, you cannot extract a perfectly healthy teeth, which I was also unaware of. But you don't want to compromise your belief as a practicing dentist, but at the same time, you want to respect the belief of others as well. So even though, you know, like, that's a perfectly healthy tooth, I need to respect the patient that that's their belief that there's a negative energy coming from that and they really want to get that extracted. So in that sense, you also want to help the patient.
Yeah, kind of going back into like, you want to understand your patient. You want to be able to be an understanding dentist, really. Yeah.
Build good relationships.
Yeah. I did a mock interview with my master's program that I did, and they asked me a lot of ethics questions. So it's definitely important to kind of review some of those.
Yeah.
One of them was, say you found out that a friend was cheating on a test, what would you do? And
well, that is
right.
That's like friendship and integrity.
Right. So the answer always is you want to report them, or you want to approach that friend and tell them that they should report themselves.
Yes.
Or else you will. Reason being is because if they're not, if they don't have a strong integrity of not cheating during a test, or they don't have a strong integrity just in general, that means, what does that mean when they get into practice? How will that translate into their clinical practice? Will they lie about certain things? So that it's important to mention that as well. Just like their integrity is low during class, so that means what kind of integrity will they have during clinical practice?
Yeah, and the reason why we kind of look at academic integrity and why that's so stressed throughout dental school is because they want to make sure that we uphold the highest of standards. And academic integrity, although the academic part makes it sound like, oh, it's just in school. It actually says a lot about your character when you go out and actually practice in the real world.
Yeah. Are you actually taking the time to learn the material versus do you want to have a dentist who cheated during biochemistry?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely brush up on those ethics questions. We have to get to class.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's almost.
Yeah. Please let us know if you like these type of videos in the comments below. How do you want to? I'll try to edit it so that we both have some type of footage for both of our.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll
that's
see.
fine.
Yeah. We'll definitely see what the comments are and what the reviews are about these type of videos. We hope you enjoyed it. I definitely did. It kind of makes you very anxious,
Very nice.
but at the same time it's very fun to kind of reflect.
Actually, this is very de-stressing for me. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah, definitely. It's because we're on the other side.
Yeah. So let us know if you guys have any additional questions, and then we'll try to address that.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.